All right, guys, Jed and I went to town and picked up some items. We've been wanting to make a video like this for quite a few years, and we've been hesitant to do so. There's a lot of reasons not to show you what we're about to show you. We want to talk about preparedness, right?
There's a lot of stigma against it.
We started this whole journey a couple years before things got complicated in 2020. There's a lot of stuff going around right now where people are talking about preparedness in general. There's a million different things going on in the world that are giving people a good reason to be a little bit more mindful of it, right? There's a lot of people down south right now that are having troubles with hurricanes and grid down situations, so we would like to talk about just things and show you what we've done that would help us in that situation, right? And we think maybe it would help some people, and the big thing is to not be scare tactic here.
Yeah, we're not freaking you out here.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people who talk about it and they seem like they're wearing their tinfoil hats and they're a little extreme, and we would like to talk about it without getting that way.
Yes, just normal.
Yep. So let's go put this stuff in the cabin. We'll show you a little bit of the stuff we have here around the property to be a little bit better prepared. We'll just kind of do a little walk around the property too and show you. Okay? All right, guys, we're going to talk about some of the things and food that we have and keep on hand here at the off-grid property. One of the things that we feel really good about is our ability to produce our own electricity with solar. We can keep our refrigerators going. We have lights and pumps to pump water around if we need to. And if you're going to have solar, sometimes you don't have enough sunshine. So it's good to have a backup power supply. So let's tell you what we do to have backup power. All right, guys, today's video is sponsored by Jackery. A few months ago, they sent us the Jackery Explorer 1000 V2. We've been using it here for 4 to 5 months at least, and it's become one of our favorite units. Jen loves it because it's portable, has a folding handle, easy to move around for her. It's not heavy. I believe it's right around 25 pounds, so it's very easy and maneuverable. It has 50% increased power output to 1500 watts. Compared to previous generations and comparable units from other brands, it has 50% more output. That 1500 watts really makes it a very versatile unit. It can run your refrigerator in the house, most of your kitchen appliances in a grid down situation. Another great thing about the Jackery Explorer 1000 V2 is its fast charging. It charges from 0 to 100% in just an hour. Along with that, it's equipped with Charge Shield 2.0 technology. This protects the battery and the devices you're using with it. Jackery's using Life PO4 batteries. That means it will last for 10 years if we use it every single day. A nice long lifespan out of our equipment. We can very easily use the Explorer 1000 V2 sitting here right on the workbench, plugged into our tools directly, or better yet, we can hook it up over here in the sunshine and have it hooked up to our Solar Saga 200. That Solar Saga 200 portable solar panel makes this a great unit for camping or on the go. It can set up in just 60 seconds, and you can set it to an optimal angle so you can get the most power out of your panel. It's got great conversion rates. When you have a 200 watt panel from Jackery, you get 200 watts out of it. It's also very capable of charging all our DC devices like our phones and small equipment with its USB-Cs and USB-A ports. So guys, we had thousands of people ask us what the best portable power station is, and the Jackery 1000 V2 is the best portable outdoor power station we have found. So right now you can save up to 50% off on a Jackery power station of your own. They're participating in Prime Big Deal Days. It's going on until October 14th. I highly recommend you guys check out the links in the description box below in the first pinned comment to get your own Jackery. Appreciate you guys for letting me tell you about the Jackery Explorer 1000 V2 and all of its features. It's a great unit. We've really enjoyed having it here around the cabin, and we use it very often. All right, guys, so here's a good idea of what we keep in our pantry and some extras in the loft. So if things were to get complicated in the world, we could just kind of hang out at the cabin for a while. Or if you're down south and you have an emergency type situation where you can't go grocery shopping, up here we get a lot of snowstorms. It makes things complicated to get to the store. People kind of panic buy stuff. This is what I think we would be fine to have if we wanted to lock down for a month or so, right?
Yep, canned food, beans, rice, TP, because you can never have enough of that.
Yep.
It's important to have that.
Like at least 1 or 2 pallets of it. So, so again, guys, we're not trying to scare anybody. It's just a lot of people have a bad stigma, like Jen said, about prepping. And I wouldn't even say that we're prepping here. This is just, I think, good common lifestyle and common sense to have a few things around.
Yeah, we usually have about a 6-month supply of like canned goods like this that will last us through 6 months. We use it, we rotate through it, but we are always restacking up on it too.
Yep. It's never a bad investment to spend money on consumables that you're going to use. And that's something that we had a little bit of trouble with when we first started having a little bit more stocked up. We would buy things that people told us to buy on videos, or when you watch channels that talk about prepping or talk about homesteading or talk about stocking up, they buy certain things. Well, don't buy things you're not going to use. That's a very important thing. Because 10 years ago, I bought a ton of stuff that we didn't necessarily use, and it sat in the basement downstate for 5 years and went bad.
Mm-hmm. Like you'll notice we don't have a lot of pasta stuff. We get a little bit.
Yep.
Because we'll eat it occasionally, but it's not a main staple to our life.
And if meat and veggies weren't available, sure, we would eat noodles, more noodles.
Mm-hmm.
But don't go buy 100 pounds of noodles, which they're pretty affordable, so it's easy to do. But don't buy 100 pounds of noodles if you don't eat noodles.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's going to likely go bad. You're better off rotating through things and having stuff you use. We use a lot of canned beans, a lot of beans itself, salt, bouillon cubes, or chicken broth and beef broth making products. We use a ton of olive oil for cooking. Stuff like that for when you're cooking and you use every day. That's the stuff you should buy. And make sure it lasts a while. Cans last for 2 or 3 years for Best Buy dates, but they, in theory, last pretty much forever, as long as they're in a, climate-controlled, humidity-controlled environment. One thing that's really cheap and easy to buy is rice. You could buy a 50-pound bag of rice. I don't know how much a 50-pound bag is now, but 3 pounds, this was what, $2.60, I think.
Yeah.
So you could buy a 50-pound bag. Make sure you have somewhere to preserve it. You could do Mylar bags. You could put it in a bucket for a while. It'll last longer and be rodent-proof, but it won't necessarily be long-term, 25 years safe.
Yeah. And rice goes a long way. You only need like such a tiny bit. Like
Yeah.
we don't eat a lot of rice, but when you do, this bag lasts us forever because
you could eat for a week on a 3-pound bag of rice if you add some veggies in, a little bit of canned meat. If you could can meat, I do a lot of tuna. Sometimes we have some chicken around, canned chicken, just for quick meals. So if we don't thaw something out, we have it, or for soups and stuff. Jen does a lot. We do quite a bit of coffee. Save up some coffee, extra coffee. Jen uses this sugar, stevia sugar. Another thing I just saw this and thought of is this is basically Mylar bagged. This is in a Mylar bag already. So rather than buying sugar and putting it in Mylar bags, that's already ready to go. So that's awesome. This is good till June 2027, which is 3 years from now. But that's just a Best Buy date. So that should last a very long time in that package.
Yep. And I have started having the unbleached flour for sourdough making because you guys know I like to make the bread. That's a good skill I've learned because if we were stuck here for a month or 2 months, I can make us bread, and that's another food source. So knowing how to bake. Yeah,
it's a good skill to have. Homesteading skill, good thing to be able to make your own bread.
Yeah.
Gardening is awesome too. A lot of people will can their own vegetables from the garden, and that's awesome. You do have to have a climate-controlled environment or a root cellar to do that. This stuff is a little more tolerable to freezing conditions. Canned meats, they're not supposed to freeze, but I've had canned meats and canned goods. I've had them freeze before or get into freezing environments and still be fine, but it's not suggested or recommended. So another important thing is to have seasonings. Jen uses a lot of seasonings. What do you keep around?
Salt's obviously important.
Yep.
And pepper, and then I like to keep taco seasonings and chili seasonings because those are easy meals to make.
So we don't want to beat this to death, guys, but this is a good general idea of what we have around. So some people recommended in our last pantry video about stocking up last year that to do dried fruit. We don't eat a lot of that, but it is a good sweet little treat that will last a long time as well. Get a freeze dryer. Freeze dryers or buy freeze-dried food. It can be expensive, but long-term storage for 25 plus years. We actually had a subscriber send us, Steven, sent us some freeze-dried meals.
Those are easy, good, like if you're camping or you just
Yeah.
need to eat. You don't, if you are on the grid and you lose power and you need to have food, these are easy, hot, you just add hot water to them.
Yep, and they can cook right in the pouch most of the time. So this is a good thing to have around. Like I said, long-term, quick meal options. So food is really important, along with having a good food stock and supply in case of an emergency type situation. Everybody needs water. So there's lots of different ways to create potable water or drinkable water for your cooking and for drinking purposes and cooking purposes. The way we do it is we use our Berkey filtration system here. This requires zero electricity. We put the water in the top and it gravity feeds, filters down to the bottom. So we have lots of videos talking about rainwater collection and how we get drinkable water here at the cabin. So check out those videos. We'll put a card in the top of the video in the corner here. A lot of people use like life straws or different filtering systems, ceramic filters, micron filters, distilling water, or reverse osmosis. All those systems are great. Some of them are dependent upon electricity, so that's kind of a negative. If you don't have electricity, you can't do that. Our system doesn't require any of that. So check out that video if you're interested in having clean, drinkable water in case of an emergency situation. So one thing that we do to be a little bit better prepared is have a year's supply of firewood. There's no better peace of mind than to have a year's worth of firewood for your heat. Keeping your wife warm and having the ability to cook if needed on a wood stove during a grid down situation or emergency type situation gives you great peace of mind, right? All right, let's head on to the next thing, right? All right, guys, so a few other things we tried to keep here for more long-term preparedness is some long-term rice and beans stored in Mylar. We have that in some buckets stored away. We have a bucket here of just hygiene stuff like some bandages for medical purposes, a few extra bars of soap, some toothpastes, wipes, just things like that that would come in really handy, be really nice to have if you ran on short supply. Everybody wants to brush their teeth and take a shower once in a while, right? If you're more into homesteading and you want or have the ability to can and preserve your own food, make sure you have a good supply of jars and canning supplies, rings, lids, and jars themselves. Again, don't go out and panic buy stuff, guys. Just make sure you keep your eyes open for good deals on Marketplace or at garage sales if you're out doing that. That stuff means you can get better deals without putting a hurt on the supply chain, right? Jen found these stacks of canning lids on Amazon, I believe. She'll put some links in the description box below. I believe there's 250 of them in here, or 128.
They were really cheap.
Yeah, they were very inexpensive. We got 2 strings of them, so you got 250.
And they had good reviews on them because that's something to...
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't buy just the cheap ones.
Yep. And again, canning jars, we purchased some new once in a while, but I found about a whole truckload of canning jars at a garage sale. I picked up the whole truckload for about $100. So I got a really good deal, hundreds and hundreds of jars for pennies on the dollar.
And you can canning books. We've got a good one. We'll link that below too.
Yep. On
how to can vegetables and anything from your garden and even meats.
Yep. That's the best way to do it, honestly.
Then it's all yours, and
not a lot of extra preservatives or stuff in there that you don't need to eat. So we ran into an actual storage unit that had some supplies in it from someone who had a prepper storage unit, pretty much. We didn't go out and seek these items, but they fell into our lap and we got a great deal on them. I'll show you a little bit of that right here. Again, these aren't items that we went out seeking or looking for, but they were in a unit and I got them for pennies on the dollar. We got some canteens. Can't have too many of those. Some emergency blankets. You know, again, these were purchased and put away from somebody. Flint, ways to make fire. 120-hour candles. So, you know, when you could get good deals on stuff, this stuff may sit here for our entire lives and never be used. But for, say, $50 for a container full of extra stuff, just in case, I thought that was a good investment. Also, some hand warmers for an emergency type situation. Say you're out and about, your hands get cold. We've come into the property here a few times, come and gone for holidays, come back, gotten really cold, didn't have a fire going in the cabin yet, so we were put in a situation where we were very cold and damp. Having some heating, hand heaters or foot heaters, just as an emergency type situation, doesn't hurt to have. So again, don't go break the bank, don't go into debt, don't panic buy stuff, guys. Just pick up a little bit of stuff here and there along the way. So guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us and letting us tell you a little bit about what we do here around the off-grid property to have some backups.
Yep, and be prepared if there's ever an emergency. You never know these days what kind of storms anybody's going to get.
Yep, all over the country, down south, storms, drought. Up here we have snowstorms, we have drought up here as well, cold temperatures we have to be prepared for. You know, we try not to get too worried about stuff and let it affect our lifestyle, but it does put a lot of peace of mind to us to have this stuff around.
If we think we missed anything, let us know.
Yep.
If you think there's anything we need to add to our preparedness,
what do you do?
And if there's some other good channels out there that do similar videos that you recommend for anybody to check out, drop them below too, because we're happy to
check them out.
I know Martin Johnson, they do a lot of stuff like this all the time. They've got lots of good videos, so I know they do stuff. So anybody else, if you know, drop it below. Yep.
And Jen will try to do her best to put a lot of the links in the description box below to some of these products or some of the things that might help you
get the videos that we talked about. And if we missed one, just ask for it.
Yep. It'll help you get started. And we hope you guys are all safe out there. We know there's a lot of stuff going on in the country right now.
Storms and floods and no power situations.
So we wish you our best, and we hope you guys can be safe, and we hope everybody stays safe for future problems and future things. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Be sure to hit the thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if you're new here watching us for the first time. We have lots of great videos, and we appreciate all the great support that all of the likes, comments, and subscribes give us.
Yep. And check out this video about our rainwater system and let us know what you think about that. All right. Best wishes.